This is going from Memphis through Arkansas up to Moody, Missouri, where Uncle Garland and Aunt Eleanor live. This is part of the Ozark Mountains. Not really mountains as such as we know them here in the West, but some fair-sized hills, I guess, rolling hills and gullies and whatnot. Now this is at Uncle Garland and Aunt Eleanor's house. That was Jeannie. There's Aunt Eleanor. They live about 5 miles away or something like that from the Arkansas line. And there is Angie. Mom and Dad and Uncle Theo had just about a week or so before I got out of the Navy, had gone to Florida. They had moved a lady and her belongings to Florida, rented a truck and gone to Florida. and Angie was with them. I'm not sure whether Ed and Tim were or just who all, but in any case, Angie was with them. On the way back, when they stopped at stopped there in Missouri, at Eleanor's house, Angie stayed there for a few days till I got out of the Navy and we made our way up there. And then she joined us, and the rest of the trip through Kentucky, Indiana, and so on all the way back, she was with us. There's Uncle Garland and Eleanor. Now, all these scenes are taking place in the summer of 1972. This is July of 1972. That's Bob. And that's Cody. And I'm not sure who that is, if that is the gal he married later on, or what. Or maybe he was already married then. I can't remember. I think this is the meeting point of the Ohio River and Mississippi River. Cairo, Illinois. I think that's the point where they meet, right there. Cairo, Illinois is right there. Southernmost point. That particular shirt that Chris is wearing, I think that's my shirt. I sure wore it a lot in these films, and she did too, apparently. And that was us putting up the tent. We did quite a bit of tenting along the way. So this is in Kentucky. The Lincoln Memorial and Birthplace, and then this is going into where Mammoth Cave National Park is. And that's Angie behind the steering wheel. Of course, not old enough to drive at that time, and Brian and Chris in the visitor center at Mammoth Cave. Oh, here's Abraham Lincoln's birthplace, National Memorial or Historical Site. Now this is the building, the old log cabin where Abraham Lincoln was born. It's enshrined inside that big building to help preserve it. Now this is in Indiana. I think this is at Tom's sister's house. Anyway, this is when Marcia and Tom were, must have been shortly after they got married. Anyway, this is in Indiana, and they lived in Indiana for a short period of time. And there's Tom. And Marcia is holding Brian. And Chris, Brian, Terry, Angie, Tom, and Marcia. I think this is at Tom's brother's house. I think the lady that came out a little earlier is Tom's sister-in-law. And this is what is this? I think this is the, oh yeah, Carthage Jail. Carthage Jail is where Joseph Smith was shot to death by a mob through that upper window. He was killed in 1844. Carthage, Illinois. And Carthage, Illinois is, let's see, I think it's just south, not too far away from Nauvoo. Nauvoo being the place along the Mississippi River that the early Mormon colony transformed from basically kind of a swamp area into a city, a very predominant city at the time. And here we are again, putting up the tent. A few weeks on the road with that tent got kind of old after a while. Hey, two-finger fucker there. I think we camped in Nauvoo State Park. And that is called the Sunstone, which was part of the Nauvoo Temple. The Nauvoo Temple was, I think it was destroyed. I don't remember the story behind it now, but anyway, that was part of the Nauvoo Temple. That looks to be one of the original brick houses from the 1840 period. The Mormon Church, as well as the reorganized Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, both groups are doing a lot of restoring in that area. Yeah, that's what's left, or that's where the temple was there. And this is in Kansas at Bill and Patty Buck's, Lawrence, Kansas. We spent a couple of days with them on our way back. From Nauvoo, we went up across the Mississippi into Iowa, not Ohio, but Iowa. Cut through part of Iowa, down through part of Missouri again, through St. Joseph, and then into Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas. Lawrence, Kansas being a little bit west of Kansas City. Now this is in Nebraska. Chimney Rock and Scotts Bluff. These are prairie dogs in Wind Cave National Park. Cute little critters. I was fairly close to this guy when I took his picture. Not very far away at all. And especially this shot right here. I think this is a good picture. And down there, that is a herd of buffalo. I think this buffalo is in Custer State Park, near Wind Cave National Park. They're both in South Dakota. And this is Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore National Monument. This is going into Yellowstone National Park. I think it rained the whole time we were going through there. We ended up just driving through, stopping a couple of times, but basically just driving through. If it hadn't been for the rain, we might have tried staying a little longer. But with a tent, oh, that Mount Rushmore, I believe the story behind the guy who did that, I think he was from Texas, around the Beeville area, or something like that. I'm not sure the story behind it, but that's somebody said that was the case, that he was from Beeville. Now these are geysers. All that steam is from the geysers in Yellowstone. That was our first and only time, or my first and only time anyway, to Yellowstone National Park. This is in July of 1972. I've never been back there since, and of course when I lived in Idaho as a kid, only lived a few hours drive away from it, but never gone back. I have to do that one of these times. Anyway, as of 1989, December, I haven't been back there, put it that way.